Alright, this is my Infiltrator, like the transmog. Looking at it, it's a blade trap Infiltrator, which means it's probably going to suck really bad on bosses. I'm not really sure how well it will do against bosses. 2400 OA, 2600 DA does not have very much OA DA. It doesn't really crit very much, it's mostly dot damage. I'm overcapped on all my resistances without any buffs up except for stun resistance. So even if I get arcane, I'm fine mostly. My armor is really high, 2600. Yeah, okay fizz res, decent slow res, good freeze res, decent things without buffs up. My cast speed kind of sucks because my gloves are attack speed gloves, but they add the possibility of adding a lot of damage to Pneumatic Burst, and that they make Pneumatic Burst a long duration so I don't have to constantly spam it, which is why I'm wearing them. But yeah, so 3% lifesteal, which doesn't really matter too much. Cast speed is only 132%, which is only really for chill spikes. My cold damage is 2800 without buffs, and Frostburn damage is 2300 with 123% duration. I have 2 Blade Spirits, which apply Devotions. I have Arcane Resonance, which gives me CC Res. Aura of Censure, which gives me reduced RR. And Veil of Shadows, which gives me reduced RR. So, damage doesn't really change. Defenses don't really change that much. Neither does anything else. But when I pop my other 2 buffs, I get up to 3k DA, 2600 OA, which is pretty good. 16k HP, which isn't bad. 70% of my, 90% of my piercing damage is turned to elemental damage. So that means pretty much all my blade trap damage is elemental damage, and all my Horn of Gander damage is elemental damage. Yeah. I'm up to 3000 cold damage with this up, as well as my Frostburn damage is at 2600 now. As far as devotions go, like skills, I'm doing dual blades with this line almost maxed out. This line, I'm pumping points into this for the extra armor, because armor is really powerful on this build. Flat HP. This applies minus 24% cold res, as well as it procs devotions really well. This gives it range. This is just 1 pointer for the damage, basically. Max this out as much as I can for elemental res. Don't really have the points for this. It's decent, but I'm not standing still with this build very much. 1 point in this, but I don't really use it so much. My devotions, I'm using this to get my fumble and impaired aim. It does pretty good damage too, actually. It's like flat cold damage, and then good frostburn damage, as well as main hand weapon damage. I'm applying that with my chill spikes. Circuit breaker, pretty good damage on Horde of Gander's Blizzard. I was actually thinking about changing that up. Changing this to Horde of Gander. Yes, and that should be almost 100% yet. 100%. Change this to Blade Spirits. And change this to Blade Trap. 100% chance on critical attack. That's the problem with Blizzard. I'm thinking about dropping Blizzard because I don't do crits, basically. And doing something else. Blizzard's the only one that requires a crit. None of these other ones require a crit. So that's why I'm thinking about dropping Blizzard, because I don't crit very much. Anyways, as usual, I'll show a build off against Warden Creek. This build took me 5 hours and 30 minutes to level to 100. Blade Trap is fun, but most bosses are going to be immune to it. Like, the set gives me minus 55 trap uh, duration or whatever, so I can fight like regular bosses with this build. But Horn of Gander does a lot of damage. Basically, it's like one of my big dot damages. I should probably rearrange my buttons and focus on using Horn first. Or using Horn instead of Blade Trap as a main damage thing. It's just, the range on Horn is not that big. That's why I have it as my button 6. But cooldown of Horn is about the exact same as that. So now we're at Krieg. Rebuff. Oh, Krieg can be got. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Just pretty quick damage. Mana's not so bad on it. I do not use Shadow Strike on this build because I don't have the buttons for it. I was thinking I might change something out to use Shadow Strike instead, like use Shadow Strike instead of Word of Pain. And then instead of using these two weapons, which I'd lose a lot of damage if I changed these weapons, because that's a lot of flat damage to Pneumatic Burst, as well as a lot of conversion damage from to Pneumatic Burst. So, not sure about changing that out at all. Um, but yeah, like my flat cold damage is like 9,000 additional on my weapon stuff, so